Hey, it's Rochelle here, and if you're new to me, I am a therapist and I talk about trauma and anxiety. And if you're not new to me, welcome back. I'm glad you're here. I want to talk to a little bit today about overthinking and the role that that plays in trauma and anxiety. And if we think about our brains as being these really protective parts of our body, that your brain is always storing information about your environment and learning how to keep you safe. We're very adaptive beings, so your brain is going to pay attention to millions of bits of sensory information and then take that information and say, hey, watch out for this, you need to be careful here, you need to pay attention to that. And it's going to sound alarm sometimes even when we don't know why it's been activated. So if we think about overthinking, we want to kind of stop, and maybe we've been someplace and we're just going over and over something that's happened, or maybe we are overthinking a decision that we make. We just can't come to the right answer. Maybe we're overthinking some interpretation of maybe we haven't heard from somebody in a while, or something has happened and we're writing a story in our heads. And so when we're overthinking, our brain is processing information again and again and again, trying to find the answer that's going to keep us safe. So one of the things we want to do is to stop and ask ourselves, what fear am I trying to guard against? So for instance, maybe we're overthinking something that's really insignificant on the surface, like what gift to buy, or what decision should we make about whether to involve a kid in an activity or not. Something just that really doesn't have any major consequences, and yet we can't come to a decision, right? So in that case, if we're overthinking, we might want to say, okay, there's really no fear in the outcome of this, so why might I be processing this information over and over again? So we might want to ask ourselves the question, like, what is the real fear behind that my mind's perceiving as dangerous? So it might be fear of failure, it might be fear of disapproving someone, it might be fear of conflict. But when we can stop ourselves and get beyond the subject matter that's at hand and go a little bit deeper and say the overthinking serves a purpose. It might not be helpful at this point, but what it's trying to do, what our mind and brain is trying to do, is to get to a reasonable outcome that we see as safe. So if we can identify what the real threat is, then we can speak truth into that, and we can say, I'm okay if I don't approve, if everybody doesn't approve of this decision, or, am I afraid I'm going to beat myself up if I make the wrong decision, if I fail? And then we can kind of re-script our ideas about failure. But the key is to get away from just the surface layer stuff and kind of get to the bottom of it, because that's what fuels anxiety, is these things that are kind of in our subconscious more than they are, what's just at hand in the here and now. So if you find yourself overthinking, stop, breathe into it, try to kind of calm your body, and then start just being curious. We can't be both curious and fearful at the same time. So the very act of just observing and reflecting and being curious is going to help take us out of that anxious state. So I hope that's helpful. If you want to follow me more, just tune in, subscribe wherever you're watching this, and I look forward to giving you more information on anxiety and trauma. I feel very passionate about this topic. I've done this for over 20 years, and in the last couple years, with some personal experiences we've had, I've learned a lot more about the brain and how our brain functions and things that we can do to calm it. And I truly believe that we should not have over 45 million Americans suffering with anxiety. I think a lot of it it is needless suffering, because there are ways out of it. And so this disease-based model where we just have to be stuck in these old patterns and we can't do anything other than learn coping strategies, I think is just serving many people. So I'm very excited about sharing information to help people get out of these patterns. So look forward to giving you more tips, and if you want to reach out with questions, I'm always free to answer questions and love sharing information. Have a great day. Bye.